All right, I think we are recording. Does it say it's recording on your end there?
It does.
All right, awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Amanda and I just wanted to take a few minutes to say a massive thank you for everybody massive thank you for not just donating, but donating so generously and quickly. You know, when we put the word out, just how fast it all came together. And we have two groups of people that donated. We got my peeps and we got Amanda's people, and
I think all the people are all our people at this point.
Oh no, it's two separate camps. No. But yeah, man, like it was amazing just when we put that video out, like how many, you know, and I know how flooded with comments and love and support, you know, you got, but just people would ask me every day, you know, how you were doing and how close it was to getting there. And they are just they're going to be thrilled to hear just after you've had the chamber in your place now for 1 full week. Is that right?
Yes,
One full
it
week
is my
today.
It's a week anniversary. Yes.
Week anniversary of HBOT, and we not
I
only
have talked about that it being my like 1 week anniversary. There's a picture that and we'll kind of get into the whole story, but it happened that one of my best friends, who also happens to be a photographer, got there like an hour before you guys did with the chamber from Georgia. She arrived from Georgia, you guys from Florida, and she caught this one picture of me kind of looking over at the chamber, and so I jokingly said today, I was like, happy 1 week anniversary to my chamber. I was like, this is a true look of love. And so
I remember my month anniversary with my first hyperbaric chamber. Yeah, you celebrate all those anniversary milestones, no doubt. Yes. So yeah, we not only wanted to say thank you, but wanted to just tell you the cool story, some of the cool stories of the actual delivery and the miraculous, like no other way to say it, miraculous assembly day a week ago. Mm-hmm. So it was 2 weeks ago when we were getting the chamber together here in Fort Myers, Florida. There was just a little something happening at that same time. Hurricane.
I heard there was like a storm or something.
There was just a tiny little weather disturbance. And that day was when the evacuation order first came for Fort Myers, Tampa, you know, just massive parts. So, you know, my dad and I had already planned to hit the road that day. And, you know, we'd planned it a month before, but as soon as those evacuation orders started coming, I'm like, you know, do we need to stay, ride this out? And my dad has always been more gutsy than me in a lot of ways. And he's just like, no, Dave, we're going for it. We're doing this. That's so thanks to him, and got to give a big shout out to Deborah in my office. She was instrumental in actually getting the chamber in our rental van as we're trying to beat the clock before the hurricane came.
Fleeing the state with a medical device.
Yep. Yes. And so we found a way to fit it all in this rental van. And we hit the road, and we, you know, it was a good bit of traffic of people evacuating, but we made it out of the state. Wow. And had a great road trip getting there. But it was so close. The day of delivery a week ago, we thought it was going to be roadblock because when we got to your place, the width of the door to get in, and like going up the stairs. And you have to tell this part. You actually sent me a text about how the person that was supposed to help us bailed on you, but you said something at the end that I was like, well, what? That's pretty presumptuous that she thinks like she's just going to be able to find somebody to help. But you were so confident, and I can't remember the way you worded it, but you said like, yeah, I'll find somebody to help us. It'll be no problem like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like so I think that I approach life and would encourage anyone that, well, I don't know that I can really encourage people to like with blind optimism approach every aspect of life. But I think when like you've been told so many times like the worst news, or like this can't happen, and like then you see it happen, like I'm random girl in California, like I can't get a chamber from a guy in Florida, like randomly, like reaching out to me that I've never met, like, oh, and we can fundraise and make it happen. Like, you can't make that happen. It doesn't happen. And so, like, when you are just kind of living a miraculous life, little things like, I mean, of course we're going to be able to get it up the stairs. I just kind of am like, sure, it's all going to work out. Until you get to that point and it's like, oh, okay, we have like Dave's dad, who is amazing, but like, I mean, older, not like, I mean, he was spry, like hopping up those stairs faster than I was. We have my friend, and then we have you. And I mean, like, that alone was not going to get that chamber upstairs and up into a doorway that it didn't fit into, and all those
and
kind of things.
People will get more context with this because we'll send we'll put the link to the photo album that Alex took, which is really great photos, but you'll see how big this chamber is. Like,
yeah, so you see how big the chamber is, and then you also see like I have this archway door that you had the thought to like put it higher, and it went through. And then so we go down this corridor, and then you go up these stairs. So so we get to like the top of the stairs, and there's like the entryway. Dave is literally on the roof of the house next door.
Yeah, you'll see it in the pictures. You'll see it.
And it wouldn't go through. And we had so again, I had scheduled what is a TaskRabbit, which is like handyman on like Uber for handyman kind of a thing. And so I had scheduled that, but we changed the time a couple times. My friend's flight was delayed, and so the TaskRabbit had canceled. So we didn't have that kind of like extra set of strong arms. So we're just like in the alleyway where my apartment is, and I see this like kid, 20-year-old kid or something.
I'm convinced he was an angel. He was an angel.
Yes, of course. But like this angel that by day installs HVAC systems when he's not saving people from miraculous HBOT deliveries. I asked his supervisor, tried to, but he didn't speak English. But anyways, like, can we borrow him for 5 minutes? Like, of course. Like, I am like quintessential give a mouse a cookie, and I always am like, can I just have 5 minutes of your time? And it's never a 5-minute thing, but like people aren't gonna. Anyways, okay, so
he was with us for about an hour, as I remember. Yeah, an hour.
Really? Oh my gosh! In my head it was like 15 minutes, but okay, so well, that's great, even better. So anyway, so he's like strapping young guy. Like, we get to the top of the stairs, it's not going in. So
impossible,
luckily,
like going in.
I mean, like, even just like the little like God details of my mom, when we were at IKEA, got like the little like IKEA toolkit where you like change out the screws or all that kind of stuff. I don't know, because will I ever personally use this toolkit? No. So when my mom is buying it, I'm like, okay, that's a waste of money. But like, had we not had that, like, I mean, to go find tools and do all that kind of stuff, we probably would have had to talk to his boss, and his boss would have probably been like, you were supposed to be here 30 minutes ago. And so anyways, all that to say that we took the doors off the hinges of my front door, and we're like, yes, we made it through. Tried to get it through the next door. Stuck. And that one was even, I think,
smaller,
probably a little bit smaller. And I'm like, this is never going to work. But it did. We got that through. We got the little perch thing that it sits on through, which again was like given by one of your clients, and I'm just so like thankful. It looks like it was made for that room. And I know you used it previously, but like, I think it was made for me.
I think you're right. And I told you that it looks much cooler in the room you have set up than how I had it here in the clinic.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was like this series of, from the moment that like, I think you left. I mean, from the first time that you contacted me, I think this has just been a story of like miracles and like this exceedingly abundantly more than we could have ever imagined. And like, I had my moments of, I don't even know who this guy is, like, but now I've made this friend in Florida, and it's like all these little like ways that it just like weave together, and the fact that you weren't there for the hurricane, and
Yeah.
and like all of these wonderful people that I don't even know have like so impacted my life. And now I am able to do these dives that like, I mean, literally the amount of dives I've had in the past week, I mean, it blows my mind. Like, and every time I get in, when I like pass by the room that it's in my apartment, like I can't pass by that room without just standing and taking a minute, and I'm still just overwhelmed with like, this is real, and it's not just a chamber. And I think that's what I've said, from the beginning, but it's so true. It's not just a chamber, and it's not even just like the like infection that it helps me not get, or it's not just the extra sleep or the way I feel, but it's like this, I don't have to worry. Like, I don't have to figure out, like, am I going to have to go fly and live in Washington for 6 weeks to get treatment? Or am I going to have to, like, what am I going to do? It's there. It's like this little miracle, big miracle that doesn't even fit in my apartment. Like,
Big miracle. Yeah. Like
it's
large
this
miracle.
massive miracle that, and it's this, like, I'm overwhelmed with the thought that, like, every single person that gave, like, was essentially saying by doing so, I believe in miracles. I believe in your healing. I believe that you're worth healing. I believe like that the doctors that said 2 years ago that you wouldn't live beyond 6 weeks, like every single aspect of that, like, is part of this miracle.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so how can I not just lay in a chamber of gratitude, like, and just like sit there and go like, this isn't just my story. This is all the investment of every single person, of a random now friend in Florida that, I mean, I'm not gonna cry, so I'm not gonna. But like,
do it, cry, do it.
Do it. I'm in Starbucks right now, or I probably would be like, I've got my like Starbucks persona going, but like, none of it makes sense. And
yeah.
the fact that I'm here doesn't make sense. And so I think that I just can't even believe it. And so to even like thank you, or I appreciate it, or I'm grateful, like none of that seems even to scratch the surface and be adequate to say how I believe that anyone that gave, I really believe is sewing into something so much bigger. And I hope, I mean, I can't imagine, except I can, in a way that maybe the average person that hasn't been rocked before, I haven't had a hurricane happen, but I've had a life hurricane happen multiple times. And so while I can only imagine what that would feel like, um, to some of your clients and people that I know donated that may have lost things, my encouragement would be is that I know those dark places, and I also know that like every detail, we can't, when we have the pieces, and some of you may literally have pieces, but like when you have the pieces, you're like looking at it and going, how will I ever move forward, or how will this ever be something? And I feel like I've had pieces of my life for the past 2 years, and I've been walking around trying to figure out what to do, and this is just part of like putting together the pieces. And I'm so grateful, and I would just encourage, like, don't give up on the pieces, and don't let go, like hold on, because that's what hope is like, holding on, because a miracle may not be an HBOT for you, but I believe in miracles, and I believe that if we can just keep going, you can see them. So I don't
Well
know.
said. Wow. That must have been some good, strong Starbucks for that awesome of a message given. That
Yes.
I think we
4
just got to.
shots.
I'm going to stop the recording right there. How can we improve on that? That was amazing. Thank you. And a lot of people here do feel like that right now, just totally shattered, traumatized. Really is the best word from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Just coming back in the last week, and yeah, so many people that just feel like their life is just like you said, just like in those pieces, and nothing is making sense right now. And so I know, yeah, from like you said, the hurricane that has rocked your health, the health hurricane, and those dark places, you got the credibility to tell people here that there is that hope,
Yeah.
when it's really seems surrounded by darkness. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for
And
that.
the thing is, I think that I mean, I'm no expert, but I'm an expert in my life. And so even to kind of like we talked about kind of like the segue of like what's next. I think that I mean, I always say like I'm not an expert in hyperbarics, so I can't tell you the science, but I can tell you my experience. And I'm not an expert in how to put together back your life from when it's in pieces, but I can tell you that from experience, if you just keep going, and a lot of times we can't be the one to figure out every detail, but if we just keep putting every day one foot in front of the other and keep going and keep having the faith that like you will see the goodness of it. And it doesn't mean that the situation is good, but good can come from it.
Absolutely.
And life can come from darkness. And so, and one of the things that I think is like my hope is that I can continue to perpetuate that hope in some way or another. And so,
well, let's talk about that real quick too, because I think what is really going to blow people's minds is the next chapter for you, that this everybody's donations, and now you finally having your own hyperbaric. You've got something big planned in about a month for your next chapter in this whole journey. Tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in our last video, we kind of talked about how we've both been very impacted and really introduced to HBOT a lot, like a lot of the mechanics and stuff from Dr. Jason Saunders and HBOT USA. And so there's a certification and licensing and all that kind of stuff that goes with operating a hyperbaric chamber, and a lot of knowledge and the mechanics and all that kind of stuff. And Dr. Saunders has a certification program. And so about a month from now, I'm going to be going through that and then taking the certification test to become a certified HBOT operator, technician, or whatever.
Your actual title is going to be functional medicine hyperbaric technician. That's what's going to be on your card.
So
that you're
official.
Going to get.
Ooh, and I'm gonna
have a card. Yeah, absolutely.
If I pass the
you're going to get a
test.
card with it too.
So yeah. So who knows what will come from that, but I think one of the things I'm just very excited about is even just furthering the knowledge, so that as I share my story, I can also further have more of the details of the why behind the what of the miracle.
You are absolutely going to love that certification course, and it's the only problem is like you're going to hate when you start learning all the in-depth benefits of hyperbaric while you're in that certification course. You're going to like miss being away from your chamber for even those 3 days. You're just gonna be like, oh, I wish I was.
Luckily, they have chambers there.
Oh, that's right. They do have a chamber for you to treat.
They got to teach you how to use it. So, yep.
You are set.
Yeah.
And then I before I forget, I thought it was so powerful. This is the week anniversary of you having your chamber, but you told me something really cool. Besides the extra sleep, the good sleep at night with it that you're already feeling.
Yeah.
You told me where it really hit home the other day. When you were walking around your beautiful neighborhood that I got to see, and they had the Halloween decorations up. And tell me about that experience.
Yeah. So I have to do a lot of walking just to keep my like connective tissue going and all that kind of stuff. And so that's part of why like these warmer climates that I end up living in are really important. But I was walking a couple days ago, and I think I've said before, when I don't have the treatment is when sometimes I notice how effective it is, because all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I didn't realize how good I felt. But I definitely had this moment where I was walking and just like enjoying the like beautiful weather. I was looking at all the houses that are being decorated for Halloween, and it just like hit me. I was like, I in my head was like, I could go like run down this street like joyfully, and you know, like I just feel that good. I didn't, because I probably would have fallen and then we would have been in Problemville. But like it was just this like I feel it, and it and I've been consistent. I'm doing, you know, at least 2 dives a day, and I am.
So for those not familiar with the hip hyperbaric chamber, a dive is just any session inside the chamber.
Yeah. So I've done 2 sessions at least a day, and I know that it is making an impact, and I'm just, again, I'm so thankful, and I think that this is just the beginning of the healing story. And so thank you everyone for being a part of it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. And these are so much fun. I can't wait to do one in a couple months after you're certified.
Yes.
And yeah, you can tell us all about that. And we will definitely have more updates of cool moments like that, like when you were walking around where you just felt like more alive, and the sleep. And I know I speak for everybody that donated, both my people and your people, that we cannot wait to hear those updates.
All
and we're just
my people.
And we're just so happy for you. And just we're all so excited to be a part of it and just play a little role. And it's just really, really fun to watch. And it was like just one of the my dad and I both were just like blown away by how great of an experience it was taking that out. So thank you. And if you ever see that angel walking around on the street that helped us, make sure you thank him too.
Yes. Okay.
All right, guys.
Well, thanks for listening to our story.
Thank you, everybody.